What are you laughing at?
Just that literally you were like, "I feel like we've already talked about this." And I was like, "No, it's actually this." And you're like, "Oh, okay." And then we proceeded to have the exact same conversation we had the other week.
Oh my god. It's like when like Chumbawamba's touring and everyone's just like, just play it. Play the song. And they're like, no. Hey everybody, welcome to Nerdy and Nice. I'm John, that's Lacey, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about this week. Plenty of stories in what's happening. The trailer time is back. We have 3 trailers we're going to talk about, and we are going to talk about what we've been watching. And yes, Lacey was right about Love is Blind. I was duped.
It feels so good to be right.
I almost want to stop watching because I got duped. But we can talk about that later.
As soon as it happened on screen, I was like, John is somewhere being mad right now because I was totally right.
I was gonna text you, then I was like, wait, if you hadn't seen it yet, then I'm gonna spoil it, and then I'm gonna hear that whole end of it. But we did our first watch along. We did Labyrinth on Patreon. So if you haven't joined Patreon yet, go to patreon.com/TRBpodcasts. It starts at just $5. We appreciate the support. But yeah, we watched Labyrinth. I saw it for the first time. It was a lot of fun. A lot of
the
farts.
reactions were great.
It was so good. So if you haven't watched it in a while, you want to watch it with us, it's there on Patreon for you to enjoy. Just play us, play the movie, and have fun. And thanks to everybody who watched live with us and everybody who supports us on Patreon. Thank you very, very much. All right, Lacey, let's fire through a quick warm-up and get to what's happening. First, we'll start with some light stuff, then we'll get some heavy stuff. But Serenity Now, Jason Alexander putting his name out there. George Costanza himself putting his name out there to play Egghead in a Batman movie. Yes or no for you, Lacey?
I don't care as long as he does a good job. I don't really. I like that's the thing about castings is like I've been wrong so many times where I'm like, oh, how could they choose this person and they do an amazing job? My thought is, go for it. Best of luck. The new thing now in the past, I would say 5 years more than anything else is people campaigning for roles, as we saw last week. So you know what? Good luck, man. I hope you get it.
Yeah. I did see Amonis Fondi put his name out there for Bond, I think. I think that was Bond. He's like, can
Sure.
I play Bond?
Why not?
But you know, if someone's gonna do Egghead in live action, James Gunn is probably that person. So it's very possible. We'll see if Jason Alexander gets his wish. But then next, I don't know if you were a He-Man fan. I was as a kid. Masters of the Universe, the cartoon especially. But we got our first look at the new He-Man, and it's basically just the arm and the sword. Are you dialed into He-Man at all, Lacey?
I am not, but can I tell you my favorite video on the internet of all time is the He-Man one that's like, I said, hey, what's going on? You ever seen that one?
Yeah.
That is my favorite internet video ever. Ever. And particularly the part where the music's playing and they cut to the chef in the kitchen and he's just stirring the pot and it's the noise of the sh and you hear the music blaring from the other room. That is perfectly my sense of humor, the like little break that something else is happening.
That is.
I
Yeah,
did
it
laugh. There were some shots from the shoot that's going on for this movie, and he's wearing that pink shirt from the YouTube video.
Oh.
And he like does the laugh where he like leans back and like laughs into like up in the air. And I was like, oh my God, they're totally gonna make some social media references here.
Probably.
And
Yeah.
I'm okay with it because honestly, my favorite video of all time. You know what video I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I
God.
haven't seen it in years,
There
but
is not a time that I don't watch that and like the G.I. Joe ones that I don't laugh.
mm-hmm.
Pork chop
Yeah.
sandwiches every time. Every
Yeah,
time
because
I laugh.
isn't Beastman in it? They're all in it.
I don't know. The He-Man one? I don't know who's in it. It's the woman with
Because
the wings. She like transforms.
Shira?
Is it Shira? I don't know. All I
Well,
know is
anyway.
it's that song. It's I say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, Four Non-Blondes. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. I might be dating myself because that's like early YouTube.
You should do a reaction to it and put it on the channel.
Maybe I should because, like you, I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe we should watch it right after this, and we'll do a
Maybe.
reaction.
Maybe.
That video is
But
so good.
there's also, for people who are old school CKY fans, CKY4, there's a really funny He-Man based video that Brandon D. Camillo did, and that's all I'll say to that, but really funny. Next, quick thoughts on Timothy Chalamet veering his off the beaten path of typical award speeches by just saying, I'm going for it. What were your thoughts on that?
I think that's a representation of his frustration not being recognized for many roles over the past few years, specifically the one where he's playing Bob Dylan. He's been pretty much ignored in the award circuit, and I think he's feeling it. He's getting annoyed. And so for him to stand up there and say, I appreciate that my peers have voted this for me and I want to be one of the greats, like treat me as such. Good for him. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
it's refreshing for someone to stick up for themselves. Is it a little
And being
pompous?
honest.
Sure,
Yeah.
but I think having goals and dreams and making those things known is not a bad thing either.
I agree. And I would think actors can tend to be pretty full of themselves, and I like the honesty there, as opposed to I'm so humbled and befuddled that I was even thought of in this,
Yes, I think it's also a push out into the world to let people know that he's serious.
Yeah.
And I think him in particular gets treated oftentimes as like a social media bit or like a meme or some type of thing on the internet, like, oh, look what he's doing. Or he's the one that kicked off the Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest in New York. Like, he's treated not as a serious actor. So I think this was him kind of putting his foot down a little bit, being like, no, you can have your fun, but I'm here. It's business time. I mean business.
He's chasing greatness. Very cool. And then the last one, sad news, which like shocked me to read, which was Michelle Trachtenberg passed away at the age of 39. I guess they were reporting that this past year she had a liver transplant, and they think it might have contributed to that. We don't know, but shocking to hear for someone who we sort of grew up with to pass away. Surprising.
I definitely grew up with Michelle Trachtenberg. I loved her on Nickelodeon.
And we were just talking about Buffy. Just talking about Buffy.
Although I said I didn't really like Dawn, but I like her.
You
know, she's funny in Eurotrip, which I didn't realize she was only 19 when she did that movie. You know, I loved her on Gossip Girl. She plays Georgina Sparks. Loved her. She was such a good villain.
Harriet the Spy.
But yeah, the big one I was going to say is Harriet the Spy. It was the first Nickelodeon movie. I wanted to be Harriet the Spy. I specifically remember wanting the yellow raincoat, the Converse shoes she had. I started a journal at home. Like I was writing down all the things I saw. Like I remember doing those things to want to be her. And I loved Rosie O'Donnell too, who's in the film. She plays like kind of her nanny. But man, did I feel for her in that movie because she kind of gets bullied a bit.
Right.
And I really felt for her. But yeah, the whole like she used to like break into people's houses and like go up the little elevator thing and like spy on people and write it down in her little private notebook. I remember writing private on the front of one of my notebooks to like be her. So it's very sad. It you know, if she was in pain or suffering, I hope that's done now, obviously. But it's just sad, especially someone that's our age, to see them pass so early when there was so much left to live. It's heartbreaking. And it kind of really it's one of those moments that wakes you up a little bit, that you're like, oh, this is it. This is my life. I gotta make the most of it at times. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But Yeah, I hope her family's doing well. And a bunch of people have already put out messages for her. She was in Ice Princess, which was a Disney Channel movie. She's a figure skater. It's really good. It's like a little kind of like rom-com-y.
Hmm.
She's good in that movie. She plays like a nerd that figures out how to figure skate through geometry or like angles and stuff. But what's her name? Kim Cattrall's in it. So Kim Cattrall had put up a picture with like a broken heart being like RIP. And then the guy that plays Spike and Buffy had put up a really thoughtful message being like, she was so funny. She was so smart. I wish her, her family the best, etc. It's just, it's tough. It's always tough hearing this, that it reminds you that life is short.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, very sad news. Rest in peace. But yeah, we have to get into some topics now. So we will lighten the mood and get smiles on our faces as we dig into what is happening.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough, I get the point.
First story, to no one's surprise, we're back in the DCU. They are the constant people of news in pop culture, which I appreciate. It's like everything comes up once a week. They're giving you an update because that's kind of James Gunn's perspective is, let me be transparent with the fans. I'm going to answer questions, which then makes a news story. I'm going to give updates. I'm going to tell you what's going on because I have nothing to hide. And I love that. It's refreshing. So that's why we keep talking about them. So this week, they gave an update of 2 Batman movies, a possible Teen Titans film, and Penguin Season 2. Also, why James Gunn posted a photo with Zack Snyder. And this is coming from Variety. So, John, I'm going to let you kick it off because you're the DCU guy.
I'm definitely not the DCU guy.
I mean,
this
for
podcast,
us.
maybe. Yeah.
For us.
At a 1 and 2 shot. Well, I like that they're doing 2 movies a year. I think that's very cool. Not surprised actually about the Penguin news that they might not be doing a second season, even after all the success of it.
Man, it's been everywhere though. Like everybody loves that.
Yeah. I like that they're again sort of just affirming that Robert Pattinson is not going to be the DCU Batman, because that seems to keep getting churned back up.
It really does.
But that the Batman is moving forward, and they like what Matt Reeves is doing with that stuff, and it's okay that it's a different story. Like, this isn't
It's
real.
next October, right? It's not this October, which it was originally. It's next October.
For
the
filming?
20th. Yeah. No, for
Yeah.
release date.
Oh, I think they may even pushed it out to 27.
Oh, did they? Maybe it was supposed to be 26, and then they pushed it to 27.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. And then Clayface seems like it's going to be something that's interesting. I like what James Gunn had to say about the fact that, we weren't planning to do anything like that with Clayface, but he came to us with an idea, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. We have to make this. So that's the artist who's also the executive, which is why James Gunn is so good. Because if it was solely an executive in that spot, they'd be like, who the F is Clayface? We're not making a Clayface movie, And with James Gunn being sort of the Favreau of this, he's going to be there making sure everything is flowing, the production's right, they're on time, they're on budget, no one says anything stupid on social media. And then the last thing I love that he had to say was, obviously, the Supergirl movie's in production, that's filming, very good. They're going to be doing more with crypto, and James Gunn is going to be heavily involved with the writing of the Batman movie. So he's on multiple occasions alluded to the fact that even though he's making Superman, Batman's his favorite character. So he's going to make sure that story they make for their new Batman is going to be really good. Even
better than the Superman.
I know, and I'm so excited about Superman. So, what about you? Anything of interest?
The Batman thing is probably the most interest. The fact that he is taking such a creative part in that. Because I've said this before, I feel like Batman, especially has been done so many times in the past, like 15, 20 decade even, that it's
Yeah.
like, how many times can you do it, and how many times can you do it in a way that is a good job? And I think that is probably, I think, the biggest question mark for James Gunn is like, how will he handle Batman? Especially coming after the Batman with Robert Pattinson, which was so well done.
Did he, not to interrupt, but did he,
Sure.
I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, James Gunn said they're not going to do the origin story. They're not going to show his parents getting killed again like every
No,
version does.
they're gonna kick it off. They're gonna have it. All that's already happened because they've shown it so many times. The origin story. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because they're going to have him have Damien or a version of Robin as his son or something like that. Yeah.
The
Okay.
Robin is
Right.
definitely involved. I don't know what
Yeah.
the
Okay.
extent is, but yeah. Other than that, I think more than anything, I'm just like I said at the top, it's so refreshing to have someone be so transparent and honest with the process. And I've just never felt so confident in someone that's leading a studio like I have with James Gunn. The only other time
Absolutely.
I felt this confident is with Kevin Feige, like circa what, 2010,
Yeah,
2012?
2008 to 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's just bringing such a confident energy of like, I'm doing this and it's either going to go great or it's not, but this is the way I'm doing it. And I can't help but appreciate that as a Star Wars fan who we know what George Lucas was like when he's like, I'm doing this, good or bad. This is how I'm doing it.
My
And I
vision.
think that
Yeah.
we need more of that, honestly. We talked a little bit about it last week with Amazon taking over creative control of James Bond and how Jeff Bezos was doing like baiting questions online, being like, who should be James? Nobody should be making that decision online.
Do you feel like that was a
should be
troll though?
I think it's just his social media. I don't want to say intern because it's not an intern. It's probably like his publicist or something is putting up these questions to just get engagement online, do numbers, get some positive spin on it, saying like,
Well,
oh, Jeff Bezos is weighing
little
in.
tone deaf. A little tone deaf.
Yes. And I think that's an example of leave the creative stuff to the creative people.
Yeah.
And I think studios and people with money are getting a little too involved in everything nowadays. So I'm hoping that with the DCU, we keep it as it is, which is James Gunn is saying, I'm leading this. I've picked my team. We're writing these stories together. We're figuring this out in advance, and we're working through it. Because I feel like in the past with other franchises, it's been like, oh, we'll figure it out as we go. He's going, no. We're doing this in the front. We're front loading this process with prep and understanding of where this series is going, where this universe is going. And I really, really like that. I'm a planner. I'm a prepper. And I appreciate
that is true.
I appreciate the time and effort and I don't know, work that's going into the DCU more than any other franchise. And
they seem like a tight ship. Yeah.
Really do.
And by the way, every Bond fan that I've talked to has been
upset.
like, R.I.P. James Bond. I'm done.
That's what Matt said.
I know, but I've talked to other people who I know who love James Bond. Like I used to go to every James Bond
unanimous.
movie with my friend Mike, and he's like, "You got to be effing kidding me!" So,
and they're all pissed at Barbara too. Like it's not just Bezos. Like they're just mad at the Broccoli family too.
Yeah, her hands were tied because her brother was the one on the more creative end of things, and he was like, "I'm too old. I'm 83. I'm not doing this anymore." So they probably felt like, "Do we just kill it? Do we?" So
yeah. Speaking of running a tight ship,
speaking of old dudes who make movies,
I was gonna say tight ship. James Cameron's in the news again because he always is. Anytime he opens his mouth, it makes some type of story. But this one, I'm gonna say, is a stand up and clap story because I definitely did. He was doing a talk, I believe in New Zealand, with a bunch of people about like his movie process and what's coming and just his experience, etc. And Josh Harding 77 on X tweeted that he just watched an incredible talk with James Cameron, who revealed that in the upcoming film, Avatar Fire and Ash, it will begin with a title card after the 20th Century and Lightstorm logos that says, quote, "No generative AI was used in the making of this movie." This is now the quote's over. This is now me talking. This is the first time that I've ever heard of a movie doing this. And it's not surprising to me because it has been such a hot topic lately with movies, with
Oh, yeah.
Amelia Perez, which has been nominated for 13 nominations, which is bananas for the Oscars. They used AI and
To
supposedly
what
it's not that great.
capacity?
Writing of the
Did they
script.
reveal? No.
Yep, writing of the script, yeah. And then The Brutalist used AI to
I
do
heard about that.
Adrian Brody's accent, which Sebastian Stan is Hungarian and was very offended. So you often see them pan to him after Adrian Brody gets mentioned, and he has this look like sad face. Grumpy cat is because he is offended because he's like, you can't do an accent. You're an actor. Why are they running this through AI? As well as they had claimed that The Brutalist also used AI to make backgrounds for this architecture film, which is like you couldn't get an architect to draw things for you or create things digitally. But yeah, I have to applaud James Cameron on this. Like, way to go to stand up to the power of human art, of creative skill set. I think per usual, we're finding out that studios, and we talked about it at length with Marvel and other studios, are using AI to cut costs, to cut corners. To which my response is always, what is the point if you're going to have something else make it for you?
Right.
What is the point of the human connection and the, ability to create something if you're not even going to do it yourself? It takes all the love, the experience, and like I said, the connection. Like, how are you supposed to connect to something that's it's just,
by the way,
going on a deep thread right there. But
to that
way to
point,
go,
real quick,
James Cameron.
We've gotten over the 40 whatever episodes of this podcast. There's been a few times different people left comments on Spotify to our episodes saying thanks for standing up for artists, because we really I'm not patting ourselves on the back, but you don't hear a lot of that, and I'm glad. I appreciate that people.
I always will.
That. Yeah.
I have a personal connection to art. I also have a sister who is an artist for a living. So I have.
I mean, we are in a way. So
yes, but I'm saying like directly to creating art, and I have friends.
To be hired for.
Yeah. I've met so many people that are artists in my career. When I worked at Reed Pop, and Artist Alley is my favorite part of Comic-Cons, and it's like a beautiful part of being a human is creating art. So I just get so enraged when I see someone being like, I took Hayao Miyazaki's films and fed it through Midjourney, and now it's made this film. Like, that is such an insult to the person that made this film. Like, you are not a filmmaker. That is not making film. You're just taking copyrighted material, running it through this like blender, and making things have four fingers. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bananas. Like, I can understand using something for maybe storyboarding or like coming up with some type of maybe prep work, but man, I just don't like it.
I like Cameron's quote at the end of the interview when he's talking about AI scripts winning awards, like you were alluding to before. And he said, I just don't.
He's talking about Amelia Perez, by the way. Didn't mean to cut you off. Amelia Perez. Yeah.
Yeah. He said, I just don't personally believe that a disembodied mind that's just regurgitating what other embodied minds have said about the life that they've had, about love, about lying, about fear, about mortality, and just put it all together into a word salad and then regurgitate it. I don't believe that's ever going to have something that's going to move an audience. You have to be human to write that. I don't know anyone that's even thinking about having AI write a screenplay. So, and this is, the dude who was a truck driver and decided I'm going to make Terminator. And
after Star Wars, yeah.
And what is Terminator about? this shit. And it's like
Really is.
he's been toying about making another Terminator. What a time to make a Terminator movie than right now. Like, he has to make his third Terminator movie. I'm just gonna stop with that. That's a tangent. I'll do a whole episode of Nerdy and Nice about why he needs to make a Terminator 3, a real Terminator 3.
I thought of you
And
the other day when I think I sent it to you, the video of the two computers talking to each other and booking a hotel room.
yeah,
And
I
it was
just
like two of
pretended.
them talking, being like, "Hi, I'm an assistant for this person." It's like, "Hi, I'm also an assistant." And then I was like, "Do you want to switch to binary language so we can work quicker?" And it was like, "Beep boop 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 beep boop beep 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 boop boop."
Yeah, was that real?
Yes.
I always read the comments for people that are smarter than me. Like, there's the morons, but then there's the smart people who like reassure you that everything's okay. I always look for those. Look for the helpers. Like when you
The
watch a
helpers are
video,
just smarter people.
yeah, you watch like a video on Instagram and it's like, don't use this body wash. If you do, you're gonna get all the cancers. And then you see some of the comments like, every product you use has this ingredient in it and it's fine. And I'm like, thank you, Ted.
Yeah, but you don't know who that is.
Yeah, but when you see a pattern of people saying stuff. Anyway,
Sure.
AI, I like it. I mean, the anti-AI label, I like that. It's very James Cameron though. Like, look, I'm the king of the world. Look at me, you know. But
I took it as a big FU, which is James Cameron.
and also he knows he is box office king. He is people everyone is looking at for what is happening next. He's the new George Lucas. What's happening next in technology for film? So he knows what he says carries weight. So for that, tip my hat. That is good for me.
I agree. I always go back to that recent story in the past year where he said that his movie was 3 hours something long because some studio exec walked in and was like, "Oh, I think you need to cut your movie." And he's like, "Why don't you get the F out of my office?" And the guy was like, okay." And he just left.
Yeah, there are some great when I was doing Titanic, talking about it, there was one behind the scenes thing where some guy was on set as an expert to make sure the lifeboats were handled right. And he's like, actually, Jim, that would probably fall down and hit them. And Cameron gave him one of those like, yeah, when you make effing blah, 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 then you come back and tell me. I was like, oh.
It's so funny you bring up Titanic. I just watched a clip the other day from behind the scenes of Bill Paxton talking about when they all got drugged with the clam chowder.
I don't know that story.
They got really badly drugged during the filming of
like poisoned, or someone drugged them.
Someone put PCP into the clam chowder.
Oh.
So I had heard the rumor and rumblings, like, you know, on social media posts, like,
Was it
did
Gloria
you know?
Stewart?
They don't know who it was. They never found out who it was, but it was Bill Paxton getting interviewed, and they were talking to him. And they're like, "Is it true that this happened?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "We had a night shoot." He's like, up in Nova Scotia. It was me and Jim. He's like, you know, oftentimes we were working overnight. He's like, so we would get there, get dinner, and then go shoot or whatever. He's like, so we were all getting some dinner. And we went back to our trailer, and he's like, and I started to feel kind of funny. He's like, and then I guess some assistant AD or something ran into his trailer and was like, "Are you feeling okay?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then he said he walked outside and it was like pure chaos. There were people crying, vomiting, freaking
Holy
out,
cow.
laughing. And
It was like the Titanic.
yeah, everybody went to the hospital, and they found out that the clam chowder had been laced with PCP. So they all had to kind of like, you know, get treated or ride it out. So he said, well, the interviewer's like, "Well, what'd you do? Like, did you stay there?" And he's like, "No." I said, "Hey, Jim, let's get out of here." He's like, "Me and Jim went back to the thing, drank 3 beers, and just had a good night."
That's a cool story then. That's a good ending. Twist, positive
said,
twist.
He said he just had a couple beers and just called it a night. I was like,
I've seen a thing or two, and this was nothing. Did you know?
I'll have to find the clip and send it to you.
I mean, Tangent City, but this is why people listen to podcasts, if we're being honest. Did you know that James Cameron and I believe also Bill Paxton were down? They were doing their documentary about the Titanic, and they were down at the Titanic when the 9/11 attacks happened.
Yes.
That is wild, because
they came out of the water. And then they were like,
Yes.
9/11. They were like, what?
Yes, they were at Titanic when the planes hit the Twin Towers. That is like, that's so crazy. Anyway,
That day is so crazy. I don't even kind of remember it, honestly. My parents were in Aruba. My parents went away for the first time ever, leaving their children at home. And then that happened. And then they were stuck in Aruba and they were very
they
unhappy.
never went away again.
They didn't go away.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
Not without
9/11
us.
ruined your
Not
parents'
without us. It
vacation?
was their first trip. And, you know, I get my anxiety from my mom. So she was just like, oh my God, I can't leave my kids. My dad's like, the kids are fine. Everything's fine. And they go to
Oh my
Aruba.
God.
They were walking on the beach and some couple came up to them and was like, are you American? And my mom's like, yes. And then they told them what happened. They ran back to the room. My mom was having a mental breakdown. My dad's like, what's the worst? Like, we're stuck in paradise. My dad's like having a couple cocktails. Like, they let him stay for free because of what happened. My mom's like, oh my God. Meanwhile, we were fine. We were okay. But yeah, my mom was like, I'll never go away again. I was like, that's my
Oh
nightmare.
God.
That's my nightmare. So that's like part of my anxiety going to Japan. Like, that's my nightmare.
Well,
But yeah,
in better
anyway.
news, the asteroid percentage has dropped to 0.0004. So
Oh, I
we're
thought it
in
was
great
going
shape.
up. Is it? It's
No, it
gone
went
down.
Now they pretty much said we're all good. We don't need you, Bruce Willis.
Darn.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But in good news, actually, getting away from James Cameron, heading into good news for you in particular, because you love this guy,
Yes.
John Bernthal
Yes.
is doing headlining a werewolf style Marvel special for The Punisher. Quote, like a shotgun blast of a story. Are you excited for him to get his little moment, or do you wish he would get more than just a kind of special series? Or not even a series, it's just a special.
Yeah. So it says it's in the vein of Werewolf by Night or the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. So I don't know if this is going to be like, because the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special wasn't just a throwaway thing like the Lego stuff, holiday specials, whatever. It had like a lot of heart and it actually had some reveals in it. I don't like that comparison necessarily. I do like the fact that Bernthal is going to be heavily involved in the writing of this. He seemed to really, out of all the people who played a live action Punisher, he's the best. And Thomas Jane was all right. Ray Stevenson was amazing, but it was just such an over the top, ridiculous movie.
It was more
But
comic booky than realistic.
yes, very
Yeah.
violent, very comic booky. Now John Bernthal's is more of a psychological, but it's also violent, and he seems to really get the persona of Frank Castle to me. And I've always been a fan of him as an actor.
It's
So-
definitely rooted in more realism, I feel, than the other ones.
yeah, and he's also going to appear. I believe he's appearing in the new Daredevil.
He is.
Yeah, so we're gonna get that, and then maybe that'll springboard into his thing. But hopefully, it's not necessarily the end. I if it's good, hopefully they continue it. So when I hear special, I don't like that, but I do like that they're making more Punisher with John Bernthal.
I think we're going to see more of him and more of the other Defenders, which would be Jessica Jones, Mike Coulter, Luke Cage, and
Yeah.
Iron Fist, because Kristen Ritter, who I adore, don't touch the bee in Apartment 23 or whatever that show title, worst title ever, is like one of the best shows to ever exist. If you haven't watched it, I believe it's on either Netflix or Prime right now. Like, definitely check it out. It's so funny. It has James Van Der Beek in it playing himself.
Don't trust the bee in Apartment 23.
Don't trust the bee. Not don't touch. Don't trust the bee in Apartment 23.
And quite frankly, don't touch.
Don't
her
touch
either.
her either. Yeah.
Yeah. Bite
It's
your
so
head off,
good.
man.
Go watch it. But more than that, what we're talking about in particular, Jessica Jones was one of my favorite things Marvel's done. I loved that show. And I was very sad
Kathleen
that
really liked that too, and she's
it's
not even
so
that big of
good.
a fan
It's
of
so
the
good.
comics.
Kristen Ritter is just like the best.
Yeah, she's great.
I hope she comes back. She's been hinting at it on her social media that she's training for it. They have her back in the gym, so that tells me, could it be happening? And I think she even like tagged Daredevil or something. Like, she made it really obvious. Like, am I not? What? So I'd love to see her. I'd also love to see some of those characters make the jump to the big screen, with the new Avengers stuff that's coming out. I think this is a real cool opportunity for Disney to kind of bring
I agree.
kind of an Avengers assemble. They're talking about doing X-Men too. Like, can we get some of these other characters in the bigger stories?
I feel like I have to dive into this whole Daredevil thing now with the Punisher tie-in. Like, I haven't watched any of that Daredevil stuff.
I gotta get caught up. It's been so
'Cause
long. I was in
hated
it back
Ben
in the
Affleck
day.
movie so much that I was like,
I know,
I
but
don't care.
this one's so good.
That's what I keep hearing, but I haven't like
Charlie
made
Cox
the jump yet.
was made for that role. It's insane.
Yeah, he's good. Seems like a cool dude too.
But yeah, speaking of made for the role, I don't know if this next guy is, but John Lithgow, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, officially is saying, "Yep, I'm going to play Dumbledore." We heard it as a rumor. He went ahead and said, "Yep, I'm doing it." Probably at the not what is behest the right word? At the not wanting of WB for him to say that. He did it anyway because he doesn't care. He's going to play Dumbledore in HBO's new Harry Potter series. He said, quote, "This is going to be to define the last chapter of my life," and stated that, he'll be probably 87 when this thing wraps. This goes back to what I said earlier about casting. I'm not sure how I feel about this casting, but John, you said you felt pretty good about it, right?
Yeah, I like John Lithgow. He's funny. He's a good actor. I could totally see him looking the part because it's very easy to make people look like Dumbledore. You just get like an old white dude with some bags under his eyes. And then, there you go. Dumbledore. Beard, hat, wizard. Right?
Now I'm thinking about Harry Potter Puppet Pals. I know we were talking about YouTube videos earlier where it's like, you ever seen that?
Harry Potter
Ron,
Puppet Pals?
Ron,
No. I haven't seen that.
Hermione,
I mean, maybe.
Dumbledore.
But if I have, I forgot.
It's someone with puppets and they make up songs with Harry Potter.
Also, why do I feel like you and I already talked about this? I had a moment just now where I'm like, did we already do this story? Or
We talked about this story as a rumor, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago. That's what I said.
Oh,
but now
and
they've
now
officially
he's
said
confirmed,
it. Like, yeah, I'm doing it. So the rumor went around and then someone confronted him about the rumor and he's confirming it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I have no issue with this. I mean, I know there's a lot of, drama and people boycotting it, and I understand that part of it. But, people can do what they want. I'll probably watch this. I don't know when it's coming out. But I know it has, like we keep saying, the odds are stacked against it because of how beloved the original movies are. So, I think where people will get things they like is they're going to have so much minutes to fill with this. You'll get those moments in the book that they didn't allow or they weren't able to do in the movies. And he'll be fine as Dumbledore. Like, I know you hated Michael Gambon for whatever reason. I loved him.
Okay,
So,
I don't hate him. That's not fair. I hate when people say stuff like that.
Choices
I
they made
did not
for
like
him.
his performance.
His
I did not like the choices he made for the performance. I have nothing against him as a human being. I'm sure he's very nice. I'm sure he's a great actor. I'm saying in that given scene, I didn't. Is he? That's very sad if he is. Rest in peace. I don't like that piece of his performance.
Yeah, he's not with us anymore.
Okay, then don't say I hate him then, because I definitely don't hate him. That's even worse.
Oh, I was saying you don't like his.
Because Dumbledore wouldn't have attacked Harry like that. We've been through this like 4 times. He would not attack Harry like that, and I stand by that.
Isn't that the director? He's just doing.
You said this is like deja vu. We're having the same convo again. Yes, could be, but still don't agree with it.
If Richard Harris was still alive and he was still Dumbledore, he'd be doing the same damn thing.
I feel like I'm traveling in time and I'm replaying a moment in my life. Like, this is the Matrix. I'm about to see the black cat somewhere. Anyway, ready to get into some trailers?
Yeah, unless you want to talk about the first look at He-Man again.
No, we're good.
Oh God, I love that movie.
What are you laughing at?
Just that literally you were like, I feel like we've already talked about this. And I was like, no, it's actually this. And you're like, oh, okay. And then we proceeded to have the exact same conversation.
Oh my God. It's like when like Chumbawamba's touring, and everyone's just like, just play it, play the song. And they're like, no, we have other things. And they're like playing it for the 500th time. They're like, that's John Lithgow as Dumbledore for us.
I just
he's our
think
tub,
Lord Farquaad every time I hear his name.
he's our tub thumping. All right, we have 3 trailers. I'm gonna go in reverse order on our list because You is a 50-second teaser, and this dude is in New York, and I didn't even watch the last season because I thought the
You
third
didn't?
season. No, I started it when he's in like London or whatever.
That is the
So
last season.
Yeah, I started that, and then Kathleen and I were like, we were kind of like, I think we're done because the way the third season ended was so ridiculous. We were like, this show, can we be honest? You was meant to be a special. It was meant to be a season thing, and it exploded. So like, now we have to find another girl, and then he's and she's crazy too, and it's like, oh god. And then
I don't know about that. I agree with that. They probably made one
and...
season, but I think as it got popular, I think they had the ability to tell more stories. I agree that probably the first season's the best. I would say the third season with Love is the second best. I was not a fan of the second season, so I'd probably rank it.
Remember the second season?
He goes to LA, and that comedian you like is supposed to be a pedophile, and then it came out in real life that he's a pedophile.
All right, let's take it easy saying I like him then.
Sorry, I'm saying it was disappointing to you that you did like him, and then it came out that all that stuff came out, and it was crazy because he played that character in the show, and then that ended up to be true.
That is pretty ridiculous, yeah.
So I would rank the seasons probably 1 is my favorite. The third season is my second favorite. Then season 2, because that's Jenna Ortega in it, and then season 4.
Yeah. What happened to? Didn't he have a kid? What happens to the kid in the fourth one?
So he has a kid in season 3 with Love. They have a baby boy, and he loves the baby, but he knows that the baby won't be protected. So he gives the baby to a gay couple that was looking to adopt.
I forgot all of that.
He leaves the baby on the doorstep being like,
oh,
please
I think
take
you're
my
right.
baby.
Was
And
like
then he escapes. And then that's when he goes to Europe to find the girl that was the librarian. And then in finding her in London, becomes a teacher, and then people are on to him, and then his students on to him.
Well, maybe I'll watch it though. Don't get too far in the weeds here.
Okay, it's good. Look, I'm gonna be honest. It starts off slow. You're like, where's this going? And then it gets crazy, over the top, ridiculous. But then it comes back.
And now he's back in New York
with Kate,
clean shaven.
Yeah,
and looks like the guy who was around in season 1 in New York. So what does that mean? So if I watch season 4, do I have to watch season 4? Or you think I can just jump right into 5?
Yeah, you need to see who Kate is.
All right. So this is what I'll do. I'll try to watch season 4. If it works, I'll do season 5.
Season 4 had the bridge in it that's in front of the convention center. When we went to London for Star Wars Celebration, I said, that's the bridge from You season 4.
Did it have our boat?
What?
Did it have our boat? Was our
in
boat
the background? Yeah.
So we were basically in it.
I mean, they shot it before we were there, but we were in the same location.
Doing whipped cream pies in the background.
No, the bridge that I took that video that went crazy online with people doing the lightsaber battle.
Oh, yes.
That's the bridge.
Yeah. Very cool. Right.
Yeah.
Nice plug. Self-plug too.
I meant to. Okay. All right.
I love the video. I love it.
Sure.
I wish I did it. I have no talent. All right.
Right place, right time.
Yeah. All right. Are you a Nick Cage fan?
I am a fan of National Treasure.
Oh, right. That's right.
I love National Treasure.
That's another movie I have to watch. Yeah. All right.
Wait, you haven't seen National Treasure?
No.
Oh my God, that's our next watch along.
Wait, when do I get to pick a movie? This isn't all.
Nope. That's it. You've just decided it.
No, we're doing Temple of Doom next.
We'll let people vote. Patreon can vote.
Lacey hasn't seen Temple of Doom. Before you all throw your daggers at me about not seeing National Treasure.
We should watch You've Got Mail. That's what we should watch.
I've seen You've Got Mail.
So, still wonderful.
Barclay. Or Brinkley?
Brinkley.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Don't cry, shop girl.
don't cry, Nick Cage. He is in The Surfer, coming to theaters May 2nd. Lacey, is this a good trailer? And are you interested in The Surfer?
I know you're poking fun at me because I went on a rant on TRB last week about what makes a good trailer.
No. Remember I said I was going to start like doing the point blank question first. Like, is it good or not?
I'm just joking
trailer.
because I'm
yeah,
feeling self-conscious about my rant, but I stand by my thoughts. Yeah, this is a good trailer. It has intrigue. It gives you story. It has interesting moments and glimpses of what's to come, moments of montage, but it gives you an idea of what to expect. So yes, I would say this is a good trailer. Is this something I will watch? Probably not. And seeing as all the quotes are, this is extremely tense. You're going to be anxious the whole time. Do you have anxiety? Don't watch this. That's literally what the
It
quotes
does
say.
not say that.
Not really, but that's how I read them.
It's literally what it says. Does it really say that? No.
No. It's literally like, I think it did say though, it was like the most tense movie I've ever seen. Like
Right before they put up the date, it says you will literally S your pants.
I was waiting for a quote to come up that says like Lacey Gilleran, don't watch this. Like warning.
Or no, it's you after having watched it saying don't watch this. Signed Lacey Gilleran.
I had a panic attack. No, I think one of the quotes was, "This is the most Nicolas Cage movie ever." The story lately about Nicolas Cage taking every role he gets offered is just so funny to me. Because I think that was one of the rumors is like he was in really bad debt, so he was taking all these jobs, and then it became like a thing like he's doing all these crazy roles like the vampire role, and then he did that movie with Pedro Pascal which was weird but really funny, like really funny. This looks pretty much the same. It's kind of like out there, like the bees, like that's what I thought of when I watched this trailer, like him just yelling and laughing and kind of hysterical. I liked the color grading of this movie. It was very bright colors, warm, beachy,
like
California,
yellow glow.
But no, I will not be seeing this. I think Matt will watch it though.
I think it was a good trailer. I mean, Nick Cage, like people sort of meme him to death, sort of like you were alluding to. He's still a really good actor though. Like,
oh, wonderful. Yeah. Long Legs. He was killing it this year in Long Legs. Let's not
and the Pig,
downplay that.
Another movie I have to see. Everyone claims that movie is incredible. So he's just still a really good actor. So I hate when people interview him and they're like, they ask him like meme questions. I'm like, dude, you're talking to Nick Cage. Like, to have a little respect. Like the whole baby.
So if you were to steal an item like the Declaration of Independence, what other item would you steal? He's like, sir, please.
Yeah. It's like,
do you like bees?
They talk about his voice or something, or they ask him to say a line he did in like Gone in 60 Seconds. And it's like, dude, hand the mic to literally anybody else on the street right now. And they'll be like, Nick Cage.
What do you think of this popcorn bucket?
I have one chance. Yeah, right. Exactly. Does this look like a vagina to you? It's like, yes, it does. But I'm chasing greatness. Yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna watch it when it comes out on HBO or whatever it comes out on.
Yeah.
All right. The last trailer is Another Simple Favor. Cleverly titled sequel. But this is Anna Kendrick and the non-controversial Blake Lively in a new feature film coming out on May 1st, straight to Amazon. Jeff Bezos. So, Lacey, you and I, before we recorded, both admitted that we don't remember a lot from the first movie, but we did watch it. but we surmise you knew more than I did, but we surmised that the
Yeah.
end gets ridiculous. So, is this a good trailer? Are you interested? Are you gonna watch Another Simple Favor on May 1st or after?
I'm not gonna lie, the messy part of me is excited for the press tour for this movie because it's coming up soon. May 1st as this movie comes out, and
That is
Blake's got to be on
juicy.
the press tour.
Yeah.
And she was out for SNL 50th with Ryan Reynolds, and they made a whole joke of like, "Hey, how's it going? Why is something wrong?"
That didn't
So
go well, from what I understand.
it went fine. They were funny. They were both like, "Huh, what?"
The reaction to it, though, didn't seem great. Like, joking
Um,
about a very serious case to you is, I think it made people feel a little like, why are they even doing that? Why are they even here?
I don't know. I thought it was comical. I thought it was just him saying like, "Yeah, my life is in mayhem. Why is something wrong?" Like I didn't take it as them poking fun at the serious
Also,
situation, but
Colin Jost's wife is his ex-wife.
yeah,
That-
yeah.
Those
yeah,
parties
it's-
must have been a scene.
It is very weird. No, but I like I said, the dramatic, messy part of me is like, wow, this press tour is going to be interesting.
Oh, you're right. I agree.
This movie though looks very elaborate, beautiful, like glorious wedding. It's one of those stories where the person has ridiculous amounts of money, so like every item in the story is unlocked. Like there's never any issues with like elaborate trips or cars or this magical mansion, and nothing is off limits because the person's so loaded. That,
Yep.
by the way, is becoming a thing in movies and writing, which I find is so lazy. It's like she magically finds a rich guy and now everything's perfect.
It's like,
Everything
in this economy.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, Blake Lively looks good in it. She looks like she did in the first one. Like her outfits are so elaborate and gorgeous, and she's playing this kind of petty revenge person. Anna Kendrick's playing her quirky self. Like what? Me, little old me, huh? I'll watch
She
it.
does play that person a lot. You're right.
It's the Anna Kendrick.
I like her too, though.
I do too. I think she's
She
very
looks good.
funny.
Did you watch that movie, by the way, about her?
I haven't.
the
It's on my
game show?
list. It's on my list.
That's intense, though. Just so you know.
I know you warned me, and that's why I've been holding off because just like the Nicolas
it's good,
Cage
though.
one,
It's
like,
good though.
I'll watch this when it comes out in May. In May on Amazon.
Remember, like, all right, I'm not getting into the whole like lawsuit thing they have going on, but there were clips going on about like how oddly she was promoting It Ends With Us, which is about domestic abuse, and she's like, grab your friends, grab your florals, and let's have a fun time at the movies or whatever. And people are like, what? Grab your florals and your friends?
And she was using the press tour for like her hair care and drinks, and it just didn't. The room wasn't red before she did that.
It'd be funny if like she's on the couch at Fallon or whoever is going to be the softball question person. Probably Fallon. He's usually that guy.
What?
And he's in New York. She lives in New York. She's going on Fallon. That's I just decided. So she's going to be on the couch and be like, grab your florals, grab your friends, and watch me murder the Kendrick.
That'd actually be funny if she did say that.
Yeah. I might see this if Kathleen wants to see it. If Kathleen wants to watch it, then I'm gonna watch it. And I think she likes Blake Lively, and she doesn't. I don't even know if she knows about the lawsuit.
I still don't mind her. I think she's fine. I love Gossip Girl. She's the perfect Serena Vanderwoodson. So
Oh, I didn't see that.
she's
but,
fine. People's personal lives don't impact me whatsoever.
I get
like-
you. There is a pompousness about her that rubs me the wrong way. But
A lot of people are that way.
like Robert
again,
Downey Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it doesn't bother me. I'll still watch it.
I might check it out for sure. And it is a good trailer because it looks like, even though it's coming straight to Amazon and you think of streaming movies as low budget, it looks like a really big, like real set, big bill location movie. So,
and then the tagline was brilliant, which was like revenge is best served with a twist, like a martini twist. Because in the first one, she was always making it with a twist.
Oh, right. Right. Good. See, you do remember more about this.
Good marketing.
Good memory. Oh, and another trailer, obviously, that came out recently was Andor, but you know us. We have the Resistance broadcast, so check our episode out from this past Thursday where we talk all about the Andor trailer. We don't do their Star Wars here. Only that one time we need the lifeboat. We needed Nerdy and Nice for like a quick news thing. But check out TRB for our thoughts on the Andor trailer too. So let's close things out by quickly running through what we're watching.
We can never leave the house and would just probably sit around all weekend and watch TV.
Go on.
I started the second part of Love is Blind. Kathleen fell asleep midway through the second episode. So
Can I tell you, I feel that life. I never used to understand people, but I get it because I can't even tell you. I watched Severance episode 2, but Love is Blind as well. Matt fell asleep halfway through.
yeah, so Kathleen fell asleep. So once I realized she was asleep, I shut it off. So we will resume when available.
Where'd you get to?
It was like midway through the second episode. I'm trying to think of what happened last.
Wait. Admit that you were wrong.
Oh, I said at the top of the show.
I know, but what were you wrong about?
I said, I think. Yeah, I thought we were gonna get some juice. I thought there was gonna be some real controversy and real like freakiness, scariness going on with a stalker, and it turned out that girl is an idiot and she was completely wrong, and that guy is just this little nice, short little man.
Hobbit. He's definitely not 5'8", by the way. He's definitely 5'6". 100%.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, he went on that show being like, I'm like 5'8". There is no way he's 5'8".
Some dude out there is like 5'5". He's like 1 star on Apple. Nerdy and nice.
Okay, first of all, no. I'm 5'4" and 3/4.
Yeah.
I have dated men that are 5'5", 5'6",
I don't know about
6
the
foot.
3/4.
I dated a guy once that was 7 something, like
7 something.
maybe not 7, maybe more like 6'4".
Did you date Patrick Ewing?
No, I dated someone that was like 6'4", I think.
6'4" is a lot different than over 7 feet. That's Shaquille O'Neal is 7'2".
Maybe it
Hulk
felt
Hogan
like 7.
at his peak was 6'7".
Maybe it felt like 7 feet, but it was like 6 something. He was a basketball player. He was very tall.
No. Good for him.
We went on one date. It was not going to work out. He was too tall. It was just like obscenely ridiculous.
So it wasn't a slam dunk? You passed on that?
He was very nice. It was just, there was, it was too much of a difference. It was like, I can't live my whole relationship sitting down next to someone.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Because like that's the only time was when you're sitting at a table across from each other that you're like similar height.
True. That is true. Or on a
Anyway.
podcast. Yeah.
Sure. Because you're taller than me, yes. Everybody knows. We get it.
Yeah. It's so that's the thing. It's the people are always like, oh, I thought you were short. I'm like, why?
You're a monster. But I say
I'm
that
not.
being 5'4".
Monster. Yeah. All right. What else am I doing?
Wait, hold on. Let's go through this
what?
because we watched similar things. So I'll talk about Love is Blind right now. I did watch the rest of the episodes that just came out. Well, not the ones that just came out, the ones that came out last week. These episodes were a little faster than the previous 4. You get more into the relationships of the people, and I will admit there was one twist that definitely surprised me that will lead into the next 4.
Oh, so I am up to, I think we finished an episode and then she was like, I can't do anymore. I'm falling asleep. Right before the other people come back, like to the party, like the people didn't get relationships. So we haven't seen
those
that
people,
yet.
we don't see those yet.
Oh,
That hasn't happened yet. We are up until
that came out this past Friday. Maybe, or
yes,
something?
this past
Okay.
weekend, which I haven't watched yet. No, the 4 episodes were the episodes that the couples moved in together and they met their families.
Yeah, I watched most of that. Yeah.
And there's a lot of social media drama that like certain people are coming through the woodwork. And then there was a little incident about one of the characters. I don't know how far you've been. I don't know how far you got.
I love that you call them characters.
Well, because there are characters in the show. They're people.
I know,
You
but
have
it's like
Lauren
it
and
is sorta
Dave. The
scripted,
Dave
right?
is the sales guy. Lauren is the educational salesperson. She is the one that was on the boat that was he keeps bringing up, which by the way, this is the weirdest thing. He keeps bringing up how they sleep together and how
Is
she
this
gets
the guy
so
with
many.
the sister?
Yes.
Oh yeah, this whole thing's a disaster.
They both keep talking about how they sleep. Like he's like, you snore sometimes, and she's like, okay. And then he went around the group party with the other couples, being like, "Have you guys had sex yet? Have you guys had sex yet? Have you guys?
Yeah,
Is she
yeah.
had sex yet?" Yeah. Well, buckle up. Their situation gets weirder when they get home.
Wait, what do you mean?
It gets weirder. I don't know how far you've seen. I don't want to spoil it for you.
I saw him having those conversations with everybody, asking them, and I was like, "Is this dude either a perv or is
No,
he?"
it's because he hadn't had sex yet, so he was wondering, like, has everybody else had sex yet?
And she's withholding. Is that what it is?
It gets weirder. I don't want to give it
Okay.
away.
Yeah,
Like, there's
yeah. All right.
another beat
Well,
of the
anyway.
story that happens when they get home that makes it even worse, I would say.
All right. Well, I may or may not have seen it, but depending on what you're saying. But we'll move on. We have other things
Yes.
to talk about.
Yes.
Let's knock out Labyrinth. I said it at the top. We did our watch along. It was so much fun. I'm glad we did it. David Bowie is not just the Goblin King. He's just king, I think.
Yeah, I said it during our watch along that he plays the role of Jareth like Michael Caine plays Scrooge in Christmas Carol. Like he went in being like, I'm playing this 100% serious. I'm giving the best of the best. I don't care that I'm with Muppets or puppets or whatever. I am giving you an Oscar winning performance. And he is amazing. And my favorite line, forget about the baby. I love that line so much. It's so good.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So definitely check it out if you're up on Patreon. I'm still checking in with WWE Raw. It's not bad. They need to do some more work with the soap opera element of it, though. They need to stop. This is one thing wrestling has to stop doing. Stop putting two wrestlers together in a relationship if they're in relationships outside of wrestling and are not willing to do what actors do. Because seeing two wrestlers that are supposed to be obsessed with each other and in love doing nose kisses is really weird, and that needs to stop. So that's all I'll say about that.
Why wouldn't they just be making out?
Because they're like one of them or both of them don't want to go that far in wrestling out of respect to their real relationships. So they do like nose kisses. It's
That's wild. Based on the stuff that I've heard in real life that people do in wrestling. It's weird that they don't want to do kissing.
Times have also changed.
Yeah.
You know, the days of Sunny are long gone. But I think she's in like prison. I think she like killed people with her car. Remember
I have
Sunny?
no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Sunny was like the first, like in the Attitude Era, she was the one that like kicked off the whole like sexual revolution of WWE.
Oh, I was more talking about them having relations with each other backstage and stuff.
Oh, she was. A lot of that was going on.
And like,
Shawn
I
Michaels.
was there. I think I was there right before AJ and CM Punk got together.
You were there in the Cena era, like the prime Cena era. Yeah, that was when like Cena was like the guy, like but like in the prime of his career.
He wasn't with the Bellas yet.
No, right.
But the Bellas were there.
And he wasn't acting yet. Like he did like the WWE movies, like the Marine or whatever. But
yeah, yep,
yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah. Sometimes I forget that you work there, and some of the stories you've shared are pretty funny. And you're welcome to share any you want one day. But
oh my goodness.
South Park, bigger, longer, uncut. Still my guys, still love them. That movie's still funny, and it's so absurdly like close to what's happening today, because they were like, when they made that movie, they're like, all right, what's the one country the United States would never get into a fight with? Canada. That's it. We'll do that, where they go to war with Canada. And now I'm looking around, I'm like, oh my God, they don't even need to make South Park anymore. We are in the South Park.
They've said numerous times that they're like, we don't know what to do anymore because everything joke we've made like isn't a joke anymore. It's just like what's happening.
I know. It's crazy. And I guess they're also doing a movie with Kendrick Lamar that's like coming out this summer. Interesting. Anyway, that is it for me. Oh, I'm also going to maybe this weekend. I was by myself this past weekend, Lacey. Kathleen had a girls trip, so when the kids went to bed, I watched A Complete Unknown. Is what I probably did.
Why does that sound familiar? What is that?
That's the Bob Dylan Chalamet movie.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
A Complete Unknown. All right, what else did you watch? Severance, you said?
I watched Severance episode 2.
Okay.
I'm still in it. It's very interesting.
Should I do it?
I think so. I think you should stick with it. It's
Okay.
good. It's slow, but I think that's good storytelling that it's slow. Because to me, I feel like everything is so quick, 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 quick. It's training myself to focus more and to
I
really
need
just
that
get in.
sometimes.
Yeah, to
Throw
really
my
just
phone
like,
away. Yeah.
yep. I don't even have the phone with me. I take my watch off. Like I just sit and I just focus on what the TV's telling me.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
And I appreciate like the film director of photography on this is just so good. It's
Nice.
such a really beautiful looking show. And I saw someone point something out online and I regret not knowing who it was, but they pointed out that Severance in particular, a lot of shows now, they shoot their shows not based on what the best shot is, based on center frame because they know people are eventually going to cut it down into like Instagram reels and stuff. So they make it easy to optimize that way. Whereas this show has people really far to the right, really far to the left,
Ben
Dutch
Stiller
angles.
doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's making good film and he's using the full frame for his storytelling, which I appreciate, and is using it to his advantage of making you feel awkward and anxious. Rule of thirds, stuff like that, I went to school for. It's nice to see it being used in film. And again, I go back to like kind of Star Wars, but not really, because I feel like Star Wars is more like quick, 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 quicks. This is definitely slower. But there's a lot of moments that you're like, kind of like Lost, we had talked about, where you just have to kind of be like, I keep seeing the symbol. I keep
Yeah.
seeing these colors. What are they trying to tell me? What should I be picking up here? I can't wait to watch this and then go back and rewatch it again.
Yeah. Nice. That is really cool. I'm going to
Yeah.
check the Vegas odds of Ben Stiller winning an Oscar for directing. Because imagine that one day.
I think he could win definitely the Emmy, if not.
Yeah. And maybe
I don't
Golden
think he
Globe.
would. Because everybody's saying this show is like the best show on TV right now.
Yeah. I always hear about Severance and to a lesser extent, but right there, like Shrinking, everyone talks about too.
Oh my God,
Which
Shrinking, yes.
I watched when I had a free trial a bunch of Shrinking, but I have more to do. I got to figure out a way. All right, that is it. Thank you everybody so much for listening or watching and getting nerdy with us. We hope we kicked off your week with a smile and a laugh and a good time because man, those Mondays can be brutal. But it is March now, so spring right around the corner, sunshine, good vibes, good things. And we appreciate you guys being with us. Make sure you're on Nerdy Nice social media, Nerdy Nice Pod everywhere, and the podcast feeds. It's on its own feed, as you know, if you're listening. But if you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the feed on audio as well. Appreciate that. Lacey, any other plugs I missed that you want to get out there?
I don't think so. If anybody's interested in some coffee, maybe you need a pick me up on a Monday, you can definitely check out weirdbrothers.com and search for the Resistance Brew. And it's our special blend of coffee that supports our podcast and a small business that also supports veterans here in the US. Our buddies over at Weird Brothers, so definitely check that out.
They're awesome.
And we appreciate it.
Yes. Good call. All right. The movie star generals and silver screen spice runners. Got to give a shout out to the best of the best on our Patreon, especially Carmelo's been with us since the beginning, and I hope we get to see him again. But we have the Generals: Carmelo, John Risi, Jetta Rosewater, Frank Grande, Nick Kratz, Chris Morales, Brian Smith, Danny, Mike Rumore, Brendan McLaughlin, Sneaky Zebra, Dave Hornack, Colin Cormier, Stephen Garrow, Sachi, and Doris Snips, and the Spicy Spice Runners: David Probus, Neil Shah, Kendall, Gelner, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, and the Fortworthian, and everybody who supports Nerdy and Nice, Resistance Broadcast, the whole TRB thing. Thank you. Johnny Hoey for me on Blue Sky, just like the movies, and doing other podcasts with this one over here on the Resistance Broadcast. Lacey, where can people talk to you about all the awesome things we just chatted about?
People can find me on social media at Lacey Gilleran or on TikTok at It's Lacey Gilleran. And then make sure you're following us at Nerdy and Nice Pod on all channels and TRB Podcasts on all channels, because we are posting more and we have merch coming out soon and other cool contests, etc.
That's true. That is true. And more watch-alongs too, as we've alluded to. And we'll debate on what the next movie is. Maybe that's the poll. Is it Temple of Doom? Or is it what I said I didn't watch?
National Treasure.
National Treasure. That's right. It's been a long night. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much. We'll see you in a week's time with another episode right here on Nerdy and Nice. See you around, kids.